What if I just stared at the video and didn't say anything? Is my face attractive to you? Am I annoying? My face is smooth for being 51, almost 52. What if I just looked at the camera and said nothing? How long would you watch me? When would you turn off and go somewhere else if I just stood there and said nothing? What would you do? According to Woods, Inglewood in the house. I'm coming to you live from Inglewood. Talk a lot with James Lott Jr., my late night talk show. I think this is episode 114, I think. I'm feeling frisky. I don't look pretty good, I know, for 51, almost 52. In the right lighting, I guess anybody can look good, but I think I look pretty good. There's no filter. You know, black folks, some of us. I've seen some blacks that do crack, so it's not for everybody. I got some gray hairs. Gray hairs. That's right. Now, think about that. If I just sat here and stared at the camera, how long would people actually sit here and watch me stare at the camera if I didn't say nothing? You know, I used to get made fun of for my big African American nose. It was nice. I'm an Inglewood High School graduate too. I'm way older than you are. I graduated 87. 1987 is when I graduated, so I'm way older than you are. I'm sure. Inglewood High. The Sentinels. And that school still looks the same. I drive by it every day and I'm like, it looks exactly the same. They need to upgrade it. Yeah, I'm feeling frisky. I don't know, I'm just feeling, I'm like, I don't know, I'm just like habits and things, right? People do stuff. I come on here. Courtney Stewart, my birthday twin, I was just talking about being black. I know, Inglewood High School. I didn't even want to go there, but I was forced to. I went to La Tierra. My class was the first 7th and 8th grade class at La Tierra. We voted on it. So I didn't go to Crozier. And then I went from La Tierra straight to Inglewood. Wasim the Dream. All these wonderful people coming on here. All these amazing people coming on my Talk a Lot with James Lott Jr. It's Friday night, kids. Friday night. I was just thinking 10 years ago, Friday night, now at 10 o'clock, I would just be leaving the house to go out to the club. That's what I would be doing right now. I would be just leaving the house. Or it's aquamarine. It's not just not just green. That's hilarious. I would have been getting ready to go to the club and heading out. Even pre-pandemic at this point, those days are over. It's kind of funny how all of a sudden for some people, I know some folks my age are still out there trying to hold it down. Not me. I'm like, I don't know. I partied a lot. I had a lot of fun. And at some point, done. So you did Oak Street, all right, Crozier, Inglewood. Yeah, okay, you did it. Part of my time I was in LA. I went to Wilshire Crest Elementary School on Olympic, and then I went to Centinela. They said I was too smart, which I totally believe. So they sent me to La Tierra, and then to Inglewood. And then I clawed my way out of Inglewood and left right after high school, went to college. I said, bye. Goodbye. And now, 40 years later, I'm back here in Inglewood, of course. In the house I grew up in. Well, at least I own it, so that's kind of good. Miss Christina. Yeah. Those days are over. You stop partying after a while. That's it. You do it, and I'm just like, I'd rather drink at home. Which I'm not drinking tonight. Actually, sometimes I take breaks. I just don't drink sometimes. Sometimes I do, as you know on this show. Tonight's a non-drinking night. I decided. Is that you? Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. According to Woods, please, please. I would love to. And then vice versa. Yeah, come on mine. You know I got 10,000 shows. I could put you on one of them. Yes. What was it like in the 80s and 90s when dinosaurs roamed the earth and we wrote on stone tablets and actually typed on typewriters? Um, I'll tell you the 80s because I mean, of course, a lot of you guys know what the 90s were like, but I'll tell you the 80s. It was a very strange time because I loved it and I also was scary. It was a scary time period. We had the Cold War, AIDS came, gang violence. I mean, here in Inglewood, I knew all the gangbangers. And where I live, it was completely the rolling 60s, Inglewood Piru. Those were the ones that were just like, when I went to Inglewood High School, we couldn't wear thick shoelaces. They banned them. We couldn't wear certain colors, red and blue. We couldn't wear them to school. There were gangs that actually would take over parts of the school, like that was their area. You had to get permission to go over. It was crazy. But it didn't bother me. I grew up with like gangbangers. I guess one of the things we all grew up together. I just didn't want to become one. Obviously, it didn't seem nice to me at all. And I was always funny, so they left me alone. I never had an issue. I've been in gang shootouts. I've been in situations that were not the greatest. Um, yeah, I didn't love growing up in Inglewood, but it's where I'm from. I mean, I guess I live here now. It's where I'm from, so you don't forget where you're from. And it taught me a lot about myself. I became street smart. I became street smart because I had to be. You just we and plus it was the '80s. We were latchkey kids. You had to go home, let yourself in. Take care of things. I had younger siblings to take care of, and so I mean, I grew up really fast. I grew up very fast. Um, oh, same when you were single too. Really, it did. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, it was. I remember I had. Oh my God, I'll tell this little story. I used to sell Helen Grace's candies. Those little blocks of candies, the chocolates. We used to sell those. I remember one time I went to the wrong part of school by accident, with paying attention. They stole my box of candy, and I had to pay for it later. Out of my own money. I had a job back then, but my own money. High school for me was just a means to an end to get out of there. I did something that I was very methodical, even at my young age. I decided the first 2 years of high school, because it was ninth through 12th, that I would do all my hard classes, get them all out the way, and work really hard. So the last years of high school, I would have half day at school. That's how smart I was. So I did that. And so in 11th and 12th grade, I had left at 12 o'clock for a work release project, which was SCROC, Southern California Regional Occupational Center in Torrance. I learned how to be a nurse. I went there for nursing. That started my whole nursing career. But I would just go half day, take the classes I had to take in those grades, and then get out by noon, and I was gone. Now I'd have SCROC every day, so some days I just go home or go have fun, whatever. And so high school for me, I was very popular. I was called a group hopper. I knew all different groups, but I didn't care about that. So I was just like, I just happened to be. I don't know why I just was popular. I just didn't really. I didn't care about school so much. It was just the thing I had to go to get the rest of my life. Um, so they did. Now I say all this, of course, that I didn't care about high school. Then my sister brings the yearbook home, and I'm like, I'm in every other picture. I'm like, I was treasurer of the Spanish club. I was part of a bunch of different places, clubs and things. I was in a lot of pictures. I knew the people in the yearbook. I started laughing when I'm in like every other page. Of EMT, okay, yes. Scrock was great. I love Scrock. I became a medical nursing assistant and everything, and then I got my CNA, and then I actually went on nursing school. But Scrock was good because it gave you skills that actually could work for something else in life. My worst subject in high school was algebra. I failed it like 3 times. I had to go to summer school, and I think I got a D plus, and that's how I got through. Like I barely got through. Algebra was just something that did not stick in my brain. I'm actually writing a book right now called "You Really Don't Use Algebra." I have a whole story about that. Math is not my thing at all. People always ask me, "Were you in a drama clubs?" But I didn't do any of that stuff. I didn't do any. I was not involved like that. All this TV stuff that I do now, everything I do now, that all came way later. I wasn't into that. I wasn't even into that stuff in high school. I literally was in high school just to get through. I mean, but I'll give a shout out to Senorita Z. That was my Spanish teacher for 4 years, and she was little thing. She was great. She was old then, so she must. I mean, I don't know if she's still alive, but she was old then. No shade to her, of course. But JTC photo, nothing else. That's so funny. Trust me, according to was I did not try to be anything. I guess, it's like my life now. I never try to be anything. I mean, I like that. I mean, I work hard at what I have and what I do, but I don't really. I'm not into any. I'm not into groups and things. I just do what I do, and they come to me. No, it just happens, I guess. I was always a friendly person, so that's why I made a lot of friends. I was always friendly, and I didn't start shit. I wasn't a shit starter. I was like a nice person. I just was like I talked to everybody, and that's all. I mean, I was there just to not to cause problems, and I didn't date other people's girlfriends. I did play sports. I played a little bit. I played a little bit of football, did some track and field. I played soccer, played baseball. Never played basketball. I did, but I've played basketball before, but I never played basketball like in school or anything like that. But I'm a big football fan now. I don't watch anything. I don't watch any basketball. I know I'm in LA. I don't watch the Lakers or Clippers. I don't watch the Dodgers. I don't do any of that stuff. But I'm a football fan, and I'm a Steelers fan because part of my family life is in Pittsburgh. So I'm a big Steelers fan. So, and my Steelers are doing really well this season, like very well this season. So I like football. I love going to football games. I love the whole experience. I hope that one day we can have that again. There's nothing like seeing a live sporting event of a team that you really like. Now I've been to hockey games, I've been to all kind of games, and there's just something about it. There's something about going to a live event. I don't like beer, so I don't drink beer. But I eat the food and stuff. She's all Ravens. Basketball, hockey, and tennis. Okay. I play tennis too. That's a pro wrestling. Nothing has changed. Oh, you are not. Well, you're not fat now. I see what you are not. I'm fat. You're not fat. Um, I was upset at pro wrestling. I never really used to do that. I was very much. I'm very much who I am then. Now I think people who know me from then were like, "You're a lot. You're the same." I had a fro back then. That's probably a little different. But well, by the time I graduated, I had a high top fade. By the time I graduated. Um, but I got along with everybody. I could relate to people. Maybe that's why I'm so good at what I do now. Is I can relate to anybody. I didn't judge people. I wasn't a judgy person. I was just like, let's have some fun. I'm fun. I'm a fun person. I like to have fun. I can be silly and crazy. I have a mouth of a truck driver off camera. Trust me. I'm very tame on these things. Occasionally stuff comes out, but I'm not like anything in real life. So I can hang with people. I have a good time. It's fun. And I think life. You have to have some fun, and I have a lot of great memories, just in terms of just fun times. But also I had a lot of friends who were killed in gang shootings and had died from AIDS and people who lost their homes and had to like move somewhere else, and I have friends who got pregnant in high school, and all kind of stuff that happened. So high school is a mixed bag for me. But I don't. You can curse on my podcast. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Don't give me any carte blanche. I'll use some fancy words for you guys. Don't give me carte blanche to curse. Here's the funny thing. I'm more of a cursor for comedy. I'm a comedy cursor. I like to, my grandmother was big on knowing your words. She was kind of like, James, you're a black man in America. You need to know your English so you can get ahead in life. Once you know your language, then you can play with it. That was always her thing. You can play with the language. You can always play with it and have fun. So I know a lot of words. I know real words, and I can blah blah blah, right? But when we would curse and stuff like that, it was for comedy reasons. We would say words to make someone laugh, or make a point. And so I think that's what continues with me. I'm kind of a comedy cursor. Yeah, it's all for fun, And they're not really bad words. I mean, I'm like Whoopi Goldberg. Bad words are stupid, dummy. Those are bad words. Carte blanche is your forte. Okay, everybody try. Oh, okay. I see you. He knows he got his education. Well, thank you, Raul. Raul. You're a very polite person. You're always very polite, and that's what I like. People who are polite. Now I'm a little shady. I like some shade. I always say it's always cooler in the shade, but the shade's for fun too. A lot of things I do, everything I do is just for fun. The world. Trust me, the world is already serious enough. I'm a black man in America. Trust me, I got enough seriousness going on. I just want to laugh sometimes and have a good time and have great conversations. I think and be nice to people. I mean, I always say this: people should be nice. Nice should be the norm. I say it all the time. Really, seriously, just be a nice person. I mean, I don't understand people who are not nice, who think it's fun to be mean. I'm like, it's fun to be shady and have fun with it, but it's not fun to be just mean for mean's sake. I'm like, ugh, no, not at all, not at all, no, not at all. But back to Inglewood, I wrote a song about Inglewood on my first album. Inglewood is the place. I know, really, I'm Black Man America. I know it's crazy. I know I look like I'm Dutch. Here's what's so funny, you guys. So I'm actually mixed race, but here's what's funny. I did the DNA thing, the ancestry.com. It's in the lab. I got a text saying it's in the lab right now. Wouldn't it be funny if it comes back and says I'm like 98% European or some shit like that? It'd be so crazy. It'll be like, James, you're 2% black. That would be hilarious. So they said I should be getting another 2 weeks or so. I should get the results. So I'm very curious to see where I come from, who I is, who that is. That's just my baby daddy. Who that is? Just my baby daddy. Who that is? Just my baby daddy. That would be hilarious. Candace Mack, children. Candace Mack has joined us. So yeah, so I took the test. It'll be interesting, but no, I look at where you come from is very important to who you are, and I really and Inglewood really is a city that is in a great part of Los Angeles. And I think that's why a lot of white folks are moving here because they know we're near the freeways, we're near the airport, we're near the beaches. The weather is nicer down here. It's a little quieter down here. There's a lot of great places down here. I mean, it's just I have a huge lot of land down here, lot LOTT of land. Joe Rogan's 25% African. How funny! Why aren't we all from Africa? That's another story. It began in Africa, like the song by Chemical Brothers. But I love living down here, and I feel like Ingrid for so long got a bad rap, so to speak, and maybe deservedly so in some ways, but it's changing. It's really changing. I'm hoping it hasn't changed so much that the culture is stripped away. I'm really watching because I live on the border of Inglewood and L.A., the View Park area, Windsor Hills, Baldwin Hills, Leimert Park, and I'm watching stuff and I'm not smiling as much because I don't want it to be completely stripped of its culture. I think you can update and change on some level, but you don't have to take away everything. And so I am punny. My friend Flowell Boyce hates that I'm punny. He hates when I pun. So I pun him to death whenever I can on purpose because I don't care what Flowell Boyce says. I want to do whatever I want. I'm older than he is. I'm his elder. But I used to be ashamed that I was from Inglewood at one point, and I think but after a while I was kind of like, no, you can't be ashamed of where you come from. It's where you come from. It's part of inside of you. So I mean so now if I have to be the last black man standing on my block, I'm all everybody in here knows Flobito, and Flobo is one of he's like my younger brother. I mean I Flobo is somebody who is another hardworking, strong black man who's talented in many ways, and he's a New Yorker, and half my family's from New York, so I can't. We're Brooklyn people, so I can't help it. I have a soft spot for them, so yeah, Flobo's really one. Flobo and I work together all the time, and we're developing something right now that you folks will be hearing about soon on JLJ Media. You know me. I got 20 things in the irons in the fire. Back to where you come from. I think it's important to know yourself. Music. So what's funny is I have two albums coming out, two soundtracks coming out, and songs I all wrote myself, of course. And I'm very excited for you guys to hear them. My dream is to write a musical, and this next step is going to get me there closer. One soundtrack to a independent film by a wonderful black filmmaker. The movie's called Vex. I did the soundtrack. And then I wrote all the songs. So I co-wrote two of them, but I wrote all the songs, and various people are singing my music. And then Mistletoe Road, which K. Marie Cupcake is in. Flo Bito is one of the lead actors of my audio series on GLJ Media. That's coming out November 30th, but the soundtrack is coming out also. So I'm very proud of those two. My favorite music album I've done. I was talking to somebody today. I have 7 albums out, believe it or not, right? So my favorite album is the one I did last year, Salty Clouds and Sunflower Dreams, The Third Dimension. I think that one, and my orchestra album. I did an album, listen to this, according to Woods. I did a spoken word album set to orchestra with the North Inglewood Jazz Symphony Orchestra. I love that album. A lot of older people love that album. It's called Speaking with Strings. I'm very proud of that album also, for different reasons. Yes, Tony, I see you. I see you, Tony. But for me, the Salty Clouds, Sunflower Dreams, which has Tony's favorite song, I'm Almost There, came after my face was paralyzed. So my face was paralyzed for almost a year in 2018. And so when I started to regain use of my face is when I started to try to record and write. 'Cause I couldn't think clearly. There's a lot, I had a Bell's palsy. So I sat down and wrote about 30 songs and then started recording them. And so it was almost like starting all over again, learning how to use my voice. And I wanted different sounds on that album. And I wanted different stuff to come out of that. I started singing on the album. I had a big band. It was my first album with the Third Dimension. So I had a band. I had female singers, male singers behind it. It was bigger and broader. I had the album commissioned. It's a whole drawing. And so it was a big deal for me, and I was very excited. And I listen to that album still, and I go, it's a good album. Like all the songs are pretty good. It was like 17 songs, but they came out of me coming out of the dark, basically. And so I'm very proud of that album, very much, and the orchestra album. So I wrote these. I wrote some of the songs specifically for the orchestra, and I performed them in front of the orchestra, and that was an amazing experience. Performing my spoken word in front of an orchestra. I cried a couple of times. I just thought because it really got to me to hear all that sound behind me as I'm doing that. I have great producers, first of all. Palms, Red Knob. There's some great producers I work with that handle the music part of things and the editing and putting all the mastering, put it all together. I'm mostly the songwriter. I like to think I'm a fighter. I guess I've been through some really tough, rough stuff. But you have to keep going because life will keep going without you. Life will just move along and it will step on you and not say sorry and keep on going. So you have to make a decision at some point. Do you lay down and get stepped on, or do you get the fuck up and just try to shake it off and try to keep moving? So I mean, there were times I wanted to kill myself when I had Bell's palsy. I couldn't move my face. Trust me, I had low moments. But at some point, I realized I gotta try to come back. Dude, I'm not done yet. I got shit to do. I'm not done yet. I got things to do. So I really started to research. I had all that time in the world laying here. I don't know if I know what to do. And I started researching foods and medicines and holistic stuff and mindset and talking to God and just like trying to work it out. And here I am. I still have some issues from it sometimes, and it bugs the crap out of me, but I'm talking to you. I couldn't, 2 years ago, 2 years ago today, I couldn't even do this. Couldn't do this. I couldn't even do this. Couldn't close my eye, nothing. It was such a tough time, but I've been through other tough stuff. You have to. And again, as we're talking about being a black man in America, you think, I mean, the world will really keep going over you if you don't get up and do something. You just become a casualty. You become part of the carnage. And I'm like, no, I don't have time for that. I got things to do. And there's a lot I want to accomplish still. And people I want to work with, and people I want to collaborate with, and people I want to do stuff for, people I want to bring up and lift up with me. And I think it's a very important thing. I think it's you know, yeah, I'm stronger and shadier. That's right. I'm like that's I and my mother had breast cancer this year. Same thing. She's back to get on my nerves every day. But I'm glad she fought it. She went in, took care of business, and said, I'm going to take care of this. And we made some decisions, and she made some decisions, and now she's cancer free. I mean, it's like we all come from strong stock. A lot of us have ancestors who went through way worse than we did, and we come from that. We come from people who, fought for us to be here today and did things so that we don't have to do them, and endure things so that we don't have to endure them. I think of my grandmother Lott, who came to California from Louisiana with 5 boys by herself, working for rich folks, cleaning their houses, and they working as a janitor at nights, living in Watts. I'm like, she did that. And I was like, well, if she can do that, I can get out the fucking house and pull myself together and get a job and fucking go to school and shit. It's just it's one of those things, right? I mean, it's just kind of like, even my father, James Lott Sr., we're not the closest at all, but he worked 3 jobs, had 10,000 children, and, I got a house out of it. He's doing okay professionally. He got his education. He showed me ambition. Strong stock. He's had 2 heart attacks. Still alive. Working it out. I'm from California. I'm first generation Californian. I was born here. I'm from Los Angeles. In a hospital that burnt down. John Wesley Hospital. I was born, then it burnt down. But we do. We have to look at. I always hold my ancestors with me. Always. I really do hold them close to me because I just know that they. I was born in the civil rights movement. I was a kid in desegregation and busing out to the valley. Didn't work. I had been fired for jobs in the 80s because I was black. I was fired or not hired. Didn't get promotions in the 90s because I was black. Had to fight the corporate world to get my place. So I've seen it. Trust me, I've seen all of it over the years. Being just the color that I am, and that's just and being in America, even in Hollywood today. And Tony Moore and I talk about this all the time. It's hard, even being black in a Hollywood and trying to make your way through there. There's a ceiling that we get sometimes also just because of our coloring. So me, I'm out there breaking my own ceilings. I'm like, screw them. I'll start my own online network. I'll do my own shit. I have some friends from Fiji. They're Indian, South Indian, who are from Fiji. So I would love to go to Fiji. I still want to go. I still want to go to Australia and hold a koala. That's always my thing I want to do. But it's perspective is everything. And I'm a person who really believes that I'm here for a reason. Oh my God, according to Woods, it's half Fijian. There you go. Okay, wow. Raul, you got a cousin. You got a cousin in the chat room. How funny is that? I didn't even know about you. That's so funny. Yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna break down my own ceilings, do my own thing. I'm not even like gonna worry about it. I will make my way. I'm successful in many ways. They say I'm the most known unknown person in Hollywood. I know a lot of folks in Hollywood, I know a lot of folks in Black Hollywood. Many of them are very kind to me and support my career and answer my calls when I call. That's very nice. I work with many of the top PR firms on both coasts to this day. And most of that's because I was a nice person and they can get you far, and I did a good job and took care of their talent. And that's number one. That's number two. A lot of folks can be very popular and not be talented. Happens all the time. And there are folks I know, I'm sure you guys do too, there are folks who are super talented and do not get noticed. And it's a travesty. So whatever I can do to get them noticed, I will do what I can. That could be a band, a singer, an actor, a host, whomever. I think we need to showcase people who may not be in the ways of what they're looking for. I always say, you may not remember me when I walk through the door, but you won't forget me when I leave. Hello, Little Bean the Goddess. It's just very much, it's being there for each other. And oh my God, curfew time, I know. Don't even get me started on this whole curfew thing. It's dumb. Don't even get me started on that. It's super dumb. But that's a whole nother discussion. But ancestors and ancestry, do not discount that. People worked hard, so you don't have to work as hard. And so I don't forget that. I don't. Karen can say, I say it, oh my God, I say that all the time according to I always say, where I always say my three C's are care, consideration, and compassion. Those are three things I talk about all the time that are getting lost in translation. They're getting lost. They're not getting passed down. People just don't give a fuck anymore. And they just really don't. It's all about themselves, and that's it. And I don't give a fuck, and that's it. And it's like, well, no, I always say we're all part of the village. I believe in the village. We're part of all the village. I'm part of all, we're all part of the same village. Everybody in this chat room is part of my village, and I'm part of yours. And the village takes care of itself. The village takes care of itself. The village works to lift everyone up. The village works to, there's this whole thing. I have a friend who has a saying, we all win when we all win. And I love that saying. I'm tired of this whole thing like, okay, only one black comedian can be popular at a time. Why are we buying into that? Why can't it be, let's just forget that and have a bunch of black comedians popular at the same time? There's room for everybody. There's room for all people to do stuff. That's what's so, it's so, we need to break down those old thoughts and ways. but the village is supposed to take care of itself. Okay, you guys are forcing me to talk the curfew. I'm going to say this, and I don't really give a shit. This is my show, and people can be mad at me or want to. I think the curfew is dumb. I think it's not really going to help anything. I think, I'm coming from a nursing perspective. I feel we need to teach people how to wash their hands, wipe down surfaces, wear masks, how to wear them properly, have things set up so that we can social distance and still have visiting time. Big crowds. I'm not going to big crowd or not anytime soon. I totally understand that part. But like I'm seeing some restaurants and places that actually have things set up really nicely. That for to me is as safe as can be. And I think it should be fine. But to curfew, I don't understand. The virus will still be here at 6 a.m. So from 10 to 6, you guys stay home. Okay, well, I'm at home anyway. I ain't going nowhere. I'm already home already. So I don't know how that helps any. I think it doesn't really help any. So I think that's the wrong way to go, personally, myself. I just think there should be more education and I'm sorry, probably more mandates on it's people not wearing masks. It's also not just masks. It's people not wiping things down. Before pre-COVID, here's where shadiness comes in, but it's the truth. I've been to people's houses and apartments, and what people say is clean is very different than what I say is clean. I've seen people wash dishes, and I'm telling you, in all my life, there are folks who don't know how to wash a dish. They don't know how to wash a goddamn dish. You're like, it's still dirty. There's shit on. So that's number one. Teach people how to clean. I think that's what's going to we need to have happen. And we need to find things. That's so funny because you actually come from a village. I like that. We need people to learn we need to have systems in place to clean common areas better. Bye, Raul. Take care. I know it's tomorrow where you are. We need to have people learn how to actually, systems in place to actually clean things better. Get more air filters and not have them cost $500. Have them cheaper. Air filters actually help filter the air. There are things we can't hide from it. I understand we first started because we didn't know much about it. We had to lock down. I get that. But now I think we just need to get other bigger precautions in place to help clean and purify so that the surfaces, because it lives on surfaces. People need to wash their clothes more. I mean, there's things people need to do. I think we need to emphasize that as we're trying to handle this. But curfews, I think, are just not going to do anything. I just think that's just not, and even locking down so much is not going to do anything. I think that's not really the answer either. But that's just me. And again, I'm not a Republican or anything like that. I don't like Republicans who agree with me. That's not it. And I'm not an anti-masker. Those people drive me crazy too. But I think there's something that we can do. But I mean, also in addition to masking, just having cleanliness. The world is dirty. It's just fucking dirty. In general, I said pre-COVID, just dirty. And I wrote the Metro and all that stuff. I won't write it now because it's just a little too, I don't know. But we need things in place where they can clean better. I have these little magic wand things that, Santa I carry with me and stuff. Your wife got COVID from your boss. Well, see, there's that too. See, people lying and not telling the truth. You got that going on too. Or people just being reckless because it is a domino effect. My brother and I lived together. 2 coworkers got positive. He got tested. He's negative. I get tested and I was negative, but he got tested. But if he became positive, you have to tell me. I have to tell my sister, who I saw yesterday, and then she have to tell her husband. And there's a whole domino effect. And I'm sorry about your wife getting it. That totally sucks. And I hope you're okay. I guess the next question is you. You gotta be okay. I mean, it sucks. It's again, it's about thinking about everybody else. You can't think about just about yourself. And I know it's hard in America because we're so self-centered here, and we're used to doing whatever the fuck we want. Totally get it. But we have to think about our neighbors. We just have to. Think about our people, other people in our lives. We have to do that. You know what I mean? You just have to. And that's how I think we would help curb the spread. Now, I don't want to go in politics. I'm not a politician. Don't want to do any of that. But that's just my take on the COVID, the curfew thing. I'm just like, Now, when the lockdown first happened in March, I stayed home for 3 months. Didn't see anybody. I didn't leave my property for 3 months. Everybody thought it was crazy. But I think it helped because I have a compromised immune system. So I knew I had to be really careful early on because I didn't know what was going on. But I've been testing negative every week. I'm good. So and we can try to continue to do that. But it's a village thing. Everybody needs to think about each other, and what you do can affect a whole. They were saying this one party on Halloween, same thing. It's like one person went to the party, didn't say that they were exposed to it. Now, I'm not talking asymptomatic. They didn't tell anybody because they wanted to go to the party. And they thought, oh, nothing will happen. And 7 people from that party died. And none of those folks were around anybody else. They were all quite good. Okay, good. That nose test is something else. I'll tell you that. I oddly like it. I'm a freak. I oddly like it. I had the mouth swab too one. That one's not that bad. But I heard that this one's more accurate, I guess. The nose. The nose knows, apparently. And I was a freak. I was like, shove it in there. Shove it up in there. It's just the weirdest sensation. It's not even like, it doesn't hurt. It just makes your eyes water and it just stings for a little bit. And then it goes away. This is what we do here at Corey Woods. This is a family in this group here. We've made many connections here. I've been doing this. This is 114 times I've done this since March. We're a family here. We support each other here. Ty Salisbury, another amazingly talented black man in the building. We support each other's works. We follow each other. So you're now, according to Woods, you are part of the family. When I go on your show, trust me, my fans will follow. It's gonna be very interesting. You'll see. It's very interesting. And I'll talk about anything you want. I can talk about anything you want. I do so much, know so much, to whatever you want. And Ty, you are. We have Rent Money, Monogamy the series. Ty Salisbury is just like he's the man, the myth, the legend. He is. So make sure you say hi to him. We got to take care of each other. That's just number one. We just have to. We just have to. I mean, that's kind of thing, and it's tough out there. It is tough. It is tough out there. I started this show 114 times ago during COVID for this to help. I chose late night on purpose, 10 o'clock late nights on IG, because a lot of times the depression, the anxiety happens at night. As the city gets quieter, your mind gets louder. And so this is what we do. And on this show, I have famous friends who pop through here. I have non-famous friends who pop through here. I have family who pops through here. You never know on Talk a Lot with James Lott Jr. who is going to come through here. It's like it's completely, it's one of those things where it's like you don't know. And I'm a big supporter of uplifting other people. If you don't know me, people, by now, I'm always like, I may do 10,000 things myself, but I'm always uplifting my friends and what they're doing. And according to what I've been liking a lot of your posts and stuff and trying to comment. I just think it's very important. I think we need to support each other in our ventures. We will get 10,000 likes when it's a picture with a famous person, but get 2 likes when it's our project that we're posting. And I think that's something that needs to change. If you got some kind of project, whether it's a podcast episode or a new song or a new book, I'm going to support you. For something positive, of course, I'm going to support you. And if you're a person of color, especially I'm going to support you. I'm going to really support you, of course. I want to see how that is, but it happens. I'll post a picture of me and fucking Eric Braden from Young and the Restless played Victor Newman and get 20,000 likes on it. Post about my new album, you get 5 or 6. Crickets. Crickets. You're like, what? I will post a food item that I ate. I'll be like, I went to Dulon's on Crenshaw, and I'll post my food. Of course, it does look good, of course. I mean, I'm talking like short ribs and yams and greens. And it does look good. I post that, 500 likes. I post that my new book is out, Forever and a Day, Book 3, and I get 7. So it's like there's something lopsided going on here, and I don't understand the mentality. I don't understand why you just don't like it. I mean, you see it pop up in your feed. You know, James Lott Jr. I'm the king of hawking my shit. I hawk my wares all the time. I have no shame whatsoever. Everybody knows when I go into people like James, go ahead. You get the last 10 minutes. Tell them what you're doing. I do. I will push myself everywhere. That's just how it is. Oh, you totally can. Yeah, you'll see I got like 80,000 songs online. So you go ahead and whatever you want to do, it's fine. Yes. Cambry Cupcake's really good. I wrote a song for her, Kirsten and Mary. It was a very popular song, actually. It was very successful for me. I wrote it in her honor, her and her mom. I do that occasionally, write songs. Flo Bito and I have 2 songs together. We have Music is Our Life, and we have a song that's coming out. I play the songs for you. So Flobito and I have songs together, actually, that I wrote. Yes, tomorrow is the virtual day of days. I'll have to hear from all you guys what's going on. I'm busy tomorrow, but I will hear from all you guys what's going on. I'm sure what happens. But yeah, I mean, I got music, I got books, I have spoken word, I have TV shows, podcasts, series. I chose to be a multimedia empire of myself, basically. And I got audio series coming up that I wrote. So that's very exciting. And hearing actors say my words, or people who want to act say my words, brought tears to my eyes the first time. I was like, they're saying my words. It's coming to life. There's nothing like it, I will tell you. That's what Flo, they call me a Renaissance man. I'm a James of all trades. And of course, I'm a professional organizer, certified life coach. I have a doctorate. Yes, I'm Dr. Lott. I've lived a very interesting life, and I've written books on parts of it, so they're out there. The thing is, I'm having fun. Here's my thing. I try stuff. So I try, or opportunities come my direction. If it sounds decent, it sounds good, I say yes. I try it. And some of the things have led to, the music just came out of someone saying, James, you have a great voice. Do you write songs? Spoken word, same thing. I've always written poetry and spoken word, and that became something. I got a radio show because someone saw my blog, was like, do you want to do a radio show? I was like, sure, I'd love to be on radio. This voice, I'd love to be on radio. I mean, I experienced life, and out of life, great things can come from that. And even if something doesn't really last, it's still a life experience. I live life to the fullest. Again, I said I've had several times in my life where I was completely at the end of my life. I have stared death in the face several times. So once you do that, you're never the same. So I think, and I've lost so many people in my life that were close to me. And I think about my brother Max, who passed away 4 years ago, who was only 47. And we were very close. We were only a year apart, and we were very close. And he died not happy. I think I said I want to go either on stage or I'm doing a show, and I'm like, I'm James Lott Jr., follow me at James Lott Jr., and that's it. I was like, if I have to go, I want to go while I'm doing something I love. I want to be like doing one of my songs. I'm like almost there, and that's it. Just say, okay, I'm out. But at least go. But at least I went doing what I loved. Right? I did. I was doing what I was. That's good. I mean, I know it'd be scary for the people to see me die live, but I'm just kind of like I mean, it's like I'm gonna keep going until I can't. And I'm in my 50s, so I'm like, okay, I probably have another good 30 years, hopefully, to do this. Um, I'm very realistic about that. So I got a lot to do in 30 years. That'll be fast. That'll go by fast. I was like, we talk about high school. I mean, I graduated high school 33 years ago. Where the fuck did that time go? I lived 33 years. I have grandchildren in high school. It's stupid. It's like, what is going on here? The time, I remember when they were born. It's like, I mean, it's just, I have a daughter turning 32 in January. Like, it's just crazy talk. It goes by so fast. And I remember there's a saying, I think I said this on Flowo's show last thing, where this guy, I forgot who said this, because look at a headstone or a tombstone, and they have the birth date, the hyphen, the death date. He said the most important part of that tombstone is the hyphen. He's like, make the hyphen count. When he said that, it changed my life. You can't, birth date's just you're born when you're born. You have no control over that. Death date, you have no control over that either. But you have somewhat control of that hyphen. So what you do in the hyphen, that's your legacy. That's what you leave behind. That's what you affect. And I was like, God, I totally get that. So if I die tomorrow, which I hope I don't, but if I did, no one can say James didn't do shit. They can't say James was lazy and just laid around, didn't do anything. Can't say James complained and didn't say shit. You can say James Lott Jr. did a lot. Lott. And he experienced some life. He did some traveling. He had some kids. He did some things he's never done before. I did a lot of things on my bucket list already. Yeah, I survived some things. I think that's life, right? I hope it does. I hope what I do does matter to somebody when I'm gone. I mean, I'm trying to create content and energy that hopefully will continue after I'm gone. I hope so. And that people can... Somebody asked me, what do I want people to remember me for when I die? I just want people to smile. That's all. Whether it's something crazy I said or a piece of content that I did, I just hope people just kind of go, James Lott, oh my God, he was so funny, or he was so nice. Just something to smile. I don't need anything big. Just something to go, well, I'd love to show, whatever show it is. I'll take that. Because I know for people that have died in my life, mostly I smile when I think about them. Let's go, okay. I remember that one time we did, that kind of thing. I miss my brother every day, and that's one of the hard ones for me. I miss my Scrabble, my little dog, every day. It's one of the hard ones for me. But I'm starting to smile more when I think about them. Especially my brother. Losing a sibling is just not the easiest thing, especially when it's unexpected and so young. He died of a heart attack, as many of you guys know. So there was no long drawn out. Probably I was his last text, and that was it. The next call I got from the police. So that was a hard one for me, as many of you know. I publicly grieved him, so many of you guys know that if you know me a long time. It's on video, me crying on television, so trust me. But I'm starting to smile. He loved Shaka Khan, so when I hear Shaka Khan's song, I start smiling. When I hear certain gossip, I think about him thinking, God, he would love this gossip. I smile more when I think about him now. And so that's a nice turning point. And as our girl, my Yumi McKinley says, there's no time limit for grief. You can grieve with however you want to, as long as you want to. I had him for all those years, so it's only been 4 years. So I had to tell myself, it's okay. It's okay to cry once in a while or miss him. Or there's times I've picked up the phone to call him. It's so weird. And I catch myself, oh, he's not here. I have his last message to me from 4 years ago. I can't find myself to erase it. So it's very interesting. Very interesting. But I said on the show 4 years ago after he died, my first show back to work at AfterBuzz TV, I said I dedicate this portion of my life to Max because I feel like I want to live out the life that he didn't get a chance to live. I think it's very important. I want him to do things that he was so tickled that I finally got in this business. And he championed me, he just cheered me on. He thought all the things that was happening was really funny. Because it was never my dream to be in this business. It was his dream, wasn't mine. And I'm in it, working in it, 13 years, almost 14 years in January in the business. And I'll be 52 years old in May, and I'm still doing it. I am here, and I ain't going nowhere, bitches. No, I'm not going nowhere, bitches. I'm going to still be here as long as I can. I took that 15 minutes, I stretched it out. I made those 15 minutes elastic, is what I did. And it's been fun finding ways to create. And it's been fun finding ways to collaborate. I'm May 10th, Mother's Day. I've shared my birthday with old ladies. I'm a Taurus. If you know anything about signs, I'm very Taurus. So you would not be surprised I'm here doing this. But yes, I'm a May 10th. I am a right in the middle of the whole sign. True Taurus, baby. I was born on Mother's Day. There you go. Oh my God. That's why I liked you on Flobo Show. That's why I liked you. May 7th. Okay, we're kindred spirits. Then you already get it. You already get it then. You already get me already then. May 7th, got it. That's my favorite aunt's birthday. Basically we are. Basically. Obviously I'm your slightly older brother, but yes. But yes. I love other Tauruses. Always get along with them. Always. Never had a problem with them. I always get along with them. I like it. We get each other. I see you. That's good. Okay, last couple of minutes because they do all these changes on Instagram, but they don't change the live thing. I wish they would just let it go longer, but I guess an hour is what I get, and that's what I'm doing. This is Talk A Lot with James Lott Jr. Thank you so much for coming in. Corey in the Woods, message me. Let's work it out. Yes, I probably will be on before Thanksgiving. I will be taking Thanksgiving and the 4 days afterwards off, except I'm doing the Mandalorian after show on Friday with Ryan because it's going to be a good episode. But other than that, there'll be no soaps that weekend or anything. So I will be on Sunday, Soap Block Sunday, here on JLJ Media. YouTube, follow me YouTube, 35 shows. Follow me on every streaming service platform. Amazon Books. My music's on everything. Just James Lott Jr. TikTok, James Lott Jr. I'm apparently a star. According to Woods, yes, you too. And I'll talk to you soon, of course. Everybody, have care, compassion, concern, and consideration.